Morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. I've got questions for you. What opens with a bunch of people auditioning to be on the TV for getting married to somebody they don't know? And what closes with six people about to be married at first sight? If you guessed Married at First Sight, season 6, episode 1, wedding prep, you're correct. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. I am Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. So overall, I enjoyed the episode. I guess I give it oh, it's a beautiful garden in the backyard. I'd probably give it like a B plus. I enjoyed it. It was good. I didn't feel upset that I was watching it or that it was on the TV. I didn't have to get up and leave the room and storm out and just disgust and upsetness on the before the actual show started. There was a special where, an audition special, and I was working on, like, it was on the TV, but I was not really paying close attention to it. But I did hear one of the black guys say, that he want to get married at first sight, preferably, this is not an exact quote, but preferably to someone who's Latina. And then I'd like to add, he probably meant, or racially ambiguous, just as long as she don't look like a negress, I'm all good. And I was kind of like, well, I hope they don't match anybody up with him. I guess if they match him up with the Latina who looking for him, they just could be happy. But he probably don't want no Afro-Latina. He want a Latina that looks racially ambiguous, I'm guessing. I don't know the man. But and I missed when it actually happened. I don't know if it was during the audition special or during the actual show. But the doctor, the black doctor who at the reunion had his black wife with him, said they were thinking about matching that guy with some woman, maybe the black woman who actually got cast on the show. And he said, oh no, we're not putting, I heard, I didn't see it, but he said, well, we don't want to put him with someone who doesn't want to, we don't want to put a black woman through the horror of being with a man that doesn't want her. And that's right. So I just want to say, yay, Doc, before we get started. So basically the way the episode went is that we met the individuals that were to be coupled, one at a time, but in order of their couplation. Then we saw them going dress and tuck shopping. We saw them going ring shopping. We saw the ladies and the gentlemen who are being married at first sight go out to drinks. And then we had the bachelor and bachelorette parties, and then we had wedding prep. I think we had wedding prep and just the lead up to the wedding. So the couples, there are 3 couples in total. There's Ryan and Jacqueline. I call them the Y couple, but they're like, they both had perfect upbringings, according to them. They just feel like they were, they ain't had no major trauma, nothing of note. And then there's John and Molly. I didn't really quite get their, their connection. Maybe they're both athletic. I kind of missed that, I guess. And then there's Shawnice and Jeff T. And both of them come from large families, and they're the oldest siblings in large families, as in 10 and 14 children in the family, which is large. I remember I met someone in real life who had 5 or 6 children, and they were like, at the time that I met them, they were like around 35, 40, whatever. And it was just like, wow, you just don't meet people who have a lot of children. Like my grandparents both came from families of 10 and 20 and all of that stuff, from one woman having 10 child on my mama's daddy side, and then moving on to somebody else and having some more children. And the same thing on my father's side. I think that his father had 2 different wives and 2 different generations of children, but he didn't have as many. But so that's they're the oldest sibling of many. That's their connection. So Ryan is 29 and Jacqueline is 29. Those couples are the same age. Then there's John and Molly. John is 28 and Molly is 25. Then the black couple, Shawnice and Jeffy. Shawnice is 29 and Jeffy is 26 years old. So talking about the black couple, because if there hadn't been a black couple, I don't know if I would have watched it. It is an interesting show, so I'm glad there was a black couple, so I get to see the whole show. And I saw people complaining on the internet that, why don't they have, some interracial couples, and, why don't they have some, some couples that are like maybe not male male, or, just some non-traditional type couples. But I'm here for, the three couples, but yeah, I mean, whatever. So Shawnice, she's 29. Her dad had 9 children, and her mom had 4 girls. She's the oldest. She has a wig line, and I think she's also like a cosmetologist. So I think that's like, but she's a businesswoman, and she lives in Providence, not Boston. I think this thing is mainly set in Boston. She's the only one that I noticed who wasn't living in Boston. Her parents did not marry, but her mother did marry. So she kind of looks to that relationship and feels that was a good thing for her. Then we have Jeffy. Jeffy is an elementary school teacher. I think he teaches second graders. I don't know. He's the oldest of 14. He's a big, fine Haitian. I was trying to write big Haitian. I was trying to write something, and I just wrote fine. He's a big, fine Haitian youngster. His family, I don't know what that is. His mom is not a fan of this whole getting married to a stranger thing. So I'm like, is this a trope? Is this like a common thing for black mothers? Or are they looking for black mothers who are opposed to the married at first? Like, what's going on? I don't know. And I didn't watch how they matched the people, because some people on Twitter were like, that they're like, boop, 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 2 black people, they're a match. And I'm like, I hope that these experts are not, doing that, these experts. But I had already bought into the matching process, because the black doctor was like, oh no, she's not going to be a good match for him because he don't want a black woman. So I don't know. I'm just telling you what I had seen on the Twitter, over to the Twitter. I was like, what? I buy into I'm a fan. I think this whole concept of, when I spent time in India, I did reading before I went. And, that's when I read some fiction pieces. But, just kind of the pieces seem to explore, kind of introduce me to this whole idea of arranged marriages in a way that I guess I hadn't really been exposed to or thought much about. And then when I was there, this is totally unrelated, but I was just absolutely amazed reading the newspapers, reading the classified ads, all of the ads for people looking for wives and husbands. And it was really amazing also because so many of the ads wanted people who were tall and white skinned. I was like, wow. It was just like right there in the paper. No short Negroes need apply. No short darkies need apply. So anyway, that's Shawnice and Jeffy. Then we have John and Molly. John is athletic. His parents are divorced. He took his parents' divorce took 3 years, and I don't know, kind of what was involved with that. But that seems like a lot. That seems like it was probably an acrimonious divorce. That's what I'm guessing, because 3 years. I mean, that's a long time to be getting divorced for. Like, I think superstars go through all of that because they trying to sort through but I'm like, what? 3 years? So he has a cat, and he lost his job because of Married at First Sight. So they said, if you go on the show, you're not going to have a job. And he said, well, I'm looking for love. I'm looking for marriage. And so whatever sacrifice I have to make, I'm going to make it for my love. I think he must have been in sales. He could probably find him another job in sales, but I don't know. I don't know. But that seems like a source of stress and a potential source of drama, and it seemed like maybe a setup for confusion. People on the Twitter, I went to Twitter last night, were saying that, I don't normally go to Twitter on the shows I review, but people on the Twitter were saying that that's even worse than the guy who lived in the bus. He don't have a job? No, they should have just crossed him off the list. And his woman to be is a woman named Molly. And there are 4 girls in her family. I think her father, her dad died 6 years ago. So she and her mother, her three siblings, she and her two siblings and her mother are the four girls, and they're really, really close. And she's an insurance adjuster. She's in the insurance adjusting business. And then we have Ryan and Jacqueline. And Ryan he got 12 jobs. He probably, I'm not going to say he part Jamaican, because that would be like really ignorant, wouldn't it? That's like my favorite joke, but it's like such an insensitive joke. I'm so ashamed. I'm sorry. Forgive me for even saying that. He's a hustler. He's a fireman. He works in construction. He's a landlord. And I think he had another job that I didn't write down. I mean, I couldn't even keep up with writing the jobs, let alone, doing the jobs. And then there's Jacqueline, who lost her boyfriend 2 years ago. Was a teacher, but she's become a sales rep. So she lost her boyfriend 2 years ago. Now, I guess different people heal at different rates, but she said that it helped her to realize what was important, and that's why she wanted to come on the show. To me, I'm like, oh my God, someone died suddenly, and I guess boyfriend, not fiance or husband, but still, I'm kind of like, I'm assuming that the experts, sort of vetted her to make sure that she okay to be, because it seemed like it might be like a reaction to stress and drama. So anyway, so when John went, I got some random notes here. So that's basically that. Then when John went to get his tuxedo, the person, he like, well, what's the wedding colors? And John is like, I don't know the wedding colors. And then the tux worker is like, how can you not know the wedding colors? And then John was like, I don't know the bride either. I thought that was funny. So we had them going dress and tuxedo shopping. There was nothing of note other than that I wrote down from there. We have them going ring shopping. It was confusing to me watching, and it was confusing to Twitter as well. Like, they had to pay for the rings. My mother is convinced that the show gives them a stipend. Here's $1,000 for the ring. And then, some want to go above and beyond, because there was one guy, I think it's Ryan, the hustler, who went above and beyond. He spent $2,300 on his wife's ring because nothing is too good for his wife. And I'm like, so $2,300 is a really expensive ring? I guess we get a little jaded, some of us, because we hear about, Cardi B getting $500,000 rings from Offset. So we think $2,300. Did he spend $2,300? $2,300. $2,300 ain't nothing. But to him, it was a big deal. He was very proud. And, I guess I wasn't paying good attention, but I kind of got the impression that, there was kind of like some back and forth. And the way that they had it set up, when they went dress and tuxedo shopping, they were with their people. Like, I went dress shopping with my mama and my sisters. When the men went ring shopping, they were with the other men. And when the women went ring shopping, they were with the other women. So I was like, so is this common on the show? Do they always have the three women who are going to be married at first sight go shopping and hang out? And the three men who are going to be married at first sight go shopping and hang out? Like this ring shopping thing, is this normal? I don't think it's normal. I think it's a new thing, but I think it's a good thing. I approve. And then we see the girls go out to drinks afterwards, and we find out, or not afterward, I don't know if it was afterwards or the next day, but during the girls' excursion, we find out that Shanice was celibate for 14 months. And one of the white women is like, huh? You did that on purpose? And Shanice is like, not exactly, but the other women seemed to be very confused by the concept. And I'm kind of like, okay, that's kind of different. I mean, even if it's not for you, surely it's not like just a totally foreign concept. And we found out they talked about not having lived with anyone before. Have you lived with anyone before? And Jacqueline then discloses to the wives that she did live with a boyfriend before, and he died. And it was kind of like the people were dun dun dun. And then Molly is like, well, yeah, my dad is dead too. And it was kind of like, and then Jeffy, we talked about this already. He says that, his mom is not feeling this married at first sight thing. And he kind of concerned because his mom is always right. Oh, wow. So I was kind of like, well, what's going to happen? Because, you know, at least the our man from last season whose mama was not in favor, he was in favor. He was like, this the right thing. And hey, but baby boy Jeff D, I don't know. Is he going to be able to buck up against mama and go on and... So then we see the bachelor and bachelorette parties. I don't think I noticed anything there, but except that Jacqueline at her bachelorette party, she said that she thought that her husband's name was Ryan. And I'm like, is she psychic? Did they tell? How did she know that? I was like, oh my, did I miss something? Ryan at his bachelor party is so excited and proud about his ring. One other guy spent $1,000, and I don't know about the other guy. And then we see them getting ready for the wedding. That's all the notes I have, so I don't know. I might have been immersed, but we see them getting ready for the weddings, and you know, everybody. I knew they weren't going to have the actual wedding on this episode, but this part of I watched it last season, and it's like I was like, oh, Married at First Sight. This is gonna be. And by the time they got to the part where the people were like about to walk down the hall, walk down the aisle, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I started to get like really stressed out, like in my real life. And I wasn't marrying someone at first sight. And I'm kind of like a fan. I don't think that, you know, I think if you have the right experts, they could be just as effective as you. I mean, I guess, you know, some of these relationships are working out. So anyway, everybody was about to walk down the aisle. The men, you know, were in place. The 3 men were in place. And, the big dramatic, there are 2 big dramatic things. I think one big dramatic thing that they tease for next episode is, do we have a runaway bride? I think they teased that last season as well. Like, is she coming? Is she coming? And, you know, she comes because, you know. And then the other thing that was teased is that Mama Jeff D mommy of Jeff D, has stood up and she's like, hold on 1 second. So we don't know if she's going to say, this is my son and I give him my blessing, or if she's going to say, I object. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know it's so. That's what we got. Married at First Sight. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around to see how we got from opening to closing. Are you a lover of Married at First Sight? Have you watched it before? Are you watching it for the first time this season? They have all of these ancillary shows too. Like they have some people from first season who had a baby and they got a show, and I've seen bits and pieces of that. That might be all they have in terms of ancillary shows. But consider subscribing if you like what I do over here at Be Fabulous You. Be an official Fabulite and light up my life. Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You are #1. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous.